Hello, Feuzion. My name is Alex Hughes here with another live Sports Fusion episode, and I have a big show planned out for you. I will be interviewing Matt Vensel. He is a Minnesota Vikings beat writer. So, Matt, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing spectacular. Grabbing a little lunch here, and then I'm going to head out to practice for another training camp practice.
Yeah, and like you just mentioned, training camp started last week. So, what is your first impression on this 2016 team?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing you see is it's just a really deep, talented group. This team went 11-5 last year, and they brought back pretty much all of their players on defense that played a significant role. Many of their players are back offensively too. The big focus was changing up the offensive line, and that's going to be a big story at training camp.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest takeaway is that this is a good team last year. There's no reason to believe it won't be as good or even better. And adding guys like Emmanuel Lamore and Mackenzie Alexander and Trey Waynes going into his second year. I mean, the defense in particular is a really deep group.
And like you just said about the offense here, so how do you think Treadwell will be using this offense?
I think he's going to be a significant contributor right away. I mean, he's right now he's running with the second team behind Charles Johnson. Got a little snaps here and there with Teddy Bridgewater up here in Mankato, but I think it's only a matter of time until Treadwell is able to leapfrog Charles Johnson. Now, Charles Johnson, had a really good spring. He's looked pretty good through camp so far, kind of resembling that guy we saw late in the 2014 season. So they're not just going to hand it to Treadwell, but he's just a unique talent who fits exactly what they've been lacking on offense. They need a big-bodied possession receiver who can do damage in those short and intermediate areas, and Treadwell fits that mold. And it's a stretch probably to say that he's going to be the next Michael Irvin, but that's kind of what North Turner has in mind, is finding another guy who does the things that Michael Irvin did. And they didn't have that in the past. Now they have that in Treadwell.
Right. And will there be more of a presence of Jerick McKinnon alongside of AP?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think it makes sense for them maybe to lighten Adrian's workload a little bit, even though at 30 last year he showed no signs of slowing down. But I think also just because Jerick McKinnon's a pretty good player. He's a great athlete. And, we saw last year when they, decided to try to get him the ball in different ways that he made some big plays. And, North Turner suggested, I think it was yesterday, that maybe there's scenarios where both of them could be on the field. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they do like McKinnon enough as a receiver to line him up in the slot and things like that. So I would expect a bigger role for McKinnon. And, if something were to happen to Adrian Peterson, I think he could step in and have a really good year.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to take some time to answer some of your email questions that people sent in here. And Gary from Voorheesville has a question about how will the OLine deal with the loss of Phil Loadholt?
Well, I think it hurts in terms of just the fact that, they've been preaching how they want to have competition, and that's one spot where they really wanted to improve after T.J. Clemmings got thrown in the fire there last year. So I don't think it was any, it certainly wasn't a guarantee that Phil Loadholt was going to be the starter, or even he was going to make the team, because I think had he been here, I think the winner of that battle between Andre Smith and Phil Loadholt would make the team, and the other guy would potentially be cut. So, you hate to see with Phil Loadholt because he's a really good guy, but just the injuries, he couldn't do it anymore. And to be honest, I think the team probably knew that it was an unknown with him. I mean, he's a 30-year-old, 350-pound man who was coming off a torn Achilles, and there were no guarantees he was going to be the same player. So, I think losing him kind of hurts that competition. They've been now rotating Clemmings in with Andre Smith, in the first team, alternating every other day. But my read on that is it's probably just Zimmer and the Vikings feel like they, don't want Andre Smith to get complacent, that they want to push him a little bit. And, but you never know. Maybe Clemmings shows progress and it's enough to take the job away.
Yeah, and I'll take one more question from my email list. And Ed from Rotterdam asks, will there be more, or do you expect the Vikings offense to improve beyond their excellence as it was last year?
The defense?
Yeah, the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think just you naturally think it's going to be better. I mean, you have all these young players who are, now in their prime or getting close to their prime, and if guys like Anthony Barr and Sharif Floyd can stay healthy, they have the potential to be really good players. I think Harrison Smith is, one of the top 2 or 3 safeties in the league. And Limo Joseph, we saw why the team wanted to sign him in free agency with how he played last year. So, I talked about all that depth earlier, and also just having another year in Mike Zimmer's system and knowing what he wants and what's expected of them. I know, there's still some questions of some position battles, but it's a deep team. I think their pass rush will be better, and if they can stop the run and do better in red zone and 2-minute drill, I think they definitely can be a top 3, top 5 defense this year.
Yeah. Okay. I want to say thank you, Mr. Vensel, for coming on the Sports Fusion episode, and hope to have you on later in the NFL season.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Feuzion, for watching this brand new Sports Fusion episode. Join me later tonight, later in the afternoon. I will be interviewing a player that got traded to the Yankees in the Andrew Miller deal yesterday, J.P. Feuzion. And also tomorrow, I'll be interviewing Tim Branda, who is a Fox Sports broadcaster for them. So I got some big shows coming up for you later tonight and tomorrow. Thanks for watching, Feuzion. I will see you later this afternoon. Thanks for watching.